I cannot understand dating with over 20 years gap. My grandpa married a woman a year younger than his own daughter. After that didn't work out, shocker right, his new girlfriend is 34. A year older than me. He is 82 and looks like somebody draped some flesh over bones. He also smokes 2 packs a day and never takes a shower, so I don't get it. My dad's almost 60. I'm early 30s. I'm 5 years older than my stepmom, she's his third wife. He drops women when they get too close to 35. Are you my cousin? Because my uncle does the same, has 5 kids with 3 different women that we know of. Sadly, I don't think so. My dad only had kids with my mom, the rest are stepkids to him. But I can be an elective cousin of shared weird relationships if you like. Oh, at least you got our old that. My cousin has 2 siblings more on his mom's side, he has 6 brothers and sisters. Both my parents are on their 3rd marriage. It's so weird and still hard well into my adulthood. Dad's 3rd wife is 10 years older than me. I've been with my husband since we were 17, married at 27, kids at 30 and 33. Not easy, but we've been happy and always touched base in counseling when we couldn't work through sticky bits. The way some move through marriages seems totally exhausting to me. If they are happy, great. But I'm not sure I have the constitution for it since my parents' marriages have worn me out. My dad also has the same pattern. He just got divorced from his 4th wife last year, and moved in with another woman months ago. At this point I don't even want to know the age of the new girl. Why do people keep marrying him if he just does the same thing over and over? He keeps doing the same thing, but for them, it's the first time. Heck if I know. My mom was the first wife, they were close in age, 18-19s, when they got married, so she didn't know if he had this cycle or not. Wife number 2 was recently divorced as well, so I guess it wasn't weird. And exes are always evil no matter what side, so she believed his crap that it was my mom and all the crazy girlfriends and not him. Wife 3. I don't know what to say on her behalf. She's younger than my youngest sibling, that alone should be a flag, but she doesn't seem to care. Oh, I am sure he always explains the prior relationships as failing due to incompatibility because yes, the truth would lead any woman to run instantly from that relationship, because she would know there is a timer and when it runs out, she will be discarded. People like this are always amazing when you meet them. They love bomb the shit out of you, make you feel like you never felt love before them. But that doesn't last. First wife probably didn't expect it. Second wife could have just been cool with the age gap or assumed there was a good reason for the break. Third wife? Yeah, seems like she didn't think it through. If he tries it again, wife number 4 is just ignoring an obvious pattern. Or maybe this dude is loaded. Not that it would be a good reason, but money could explain why a senior is getting women in their 20s. My dad is also 60, dating a woman only a few years older than me. I'm 36. Her youngest child is my youngest child's age, 14, and they literally went to school and daycare together up until a few years ago. It's the weirdest shit ever. But whatever floats his boat, I guess. Oh geez, that's fun. So technically your step-sibling, / your kid's aunt / uncle? I get my kids to call her grandma. It's really funny because she technically is. I have no issues with her personally, but it bugs my dad. He's determined he's still 20, so it's fun. We actually don't interact or have any relationship. We were friends / cool prior to their relationship, but then she and my dad got distant and cold toward us, so I made the decision to keep my family away from the toxic BS. It's a whole hot mess that I don't want any part of. No one asked her to be my mother or my kid's grandma or anything, but damn, at least be respectful, and she can't even do that. As long as she treats my dad good, we good. If not, she'll be catching these hands and those from my sills. They all went to school with her and don't like her and would be happy to straighten her ass out, lol. It's such a sad / messed up relationship. Especially for my boys, cause my dad is the only grandparent they had. My mom died 2012 and Mill died 2020, literally a week from COVID shutting things down. Phil is non-existent. The whole thing honestly hurts, but I can't/won't force relationships. My dad was the same way. Married 5 times. My grandmother actually overheard him say something like that to a friend when he thought no one was there. Something to the effect of, "No woman over 40 can hold me." I briefly dated a 21 years old woman when I was 25, and then a few months later I went on a few dates with a woman who was 30. We didn't last, but that second one was life-changing, I tell you what. Taught me what maturity looks and feels like, and I knew what to look for moving forward. Yet, I'm 25 right now, and 21-year-olds just seem to be on a different plane of existence. I'm sure I seemed the same way to older people at that age. It's just that a ton of growing happens in your early 20s. I'm 26, male, and previously always dated people who were 1 to 3 years younger than me. A few months ago I started dating a woman who is 28, and it has been life-changing. Life-changing in a phenomenal way. When I was a broke high school kid, I used to see girls my age dating guys who were in their mid-20s, early 30s. I used to think those guys were cool because they had the girls in a car. Now that I'm older, I realized that was creepy as fuck, because these are adults preying on young girls. I was young and I didn't know any better, but now that I'm older my opinion completely changed once I realized what was actually going on. 30 dating 18 is quite different than 50 dating 38. Vibe with who you vibe with, as long as you are not manipulating them or coercing them. Yet, the age gap is not the only factor. I'm 40, and I'm dating a woman who's 60. Never planned for it, but it ended up working out quite well. It's been 2 years and has been pretty great for both of us. I've always felt like the old half your age plus 7 years was a pretty good rule of thumb. I seriously thought it was so weird in high school when seniors would date freshmen. When you're a freshman you see them as these cool older people. When you're a senior they look like legit children. My school in Vegas, which I went to with Brendan from Panic at the Disco, had a really bad problem with the class of 2003, a bunch of them were already 18 and filmed a girl, over the summer, who had just left 8th freaking grade. And they were all rich, so I'm sure they're real estate agents now. Well, we were friends from my 7th grade year, his 6th, to my 11th grade year, his 10th, in middle school he was super fucking hyper and weird. We all were. Me and my friend Eric were best friends and complete weirdo wannabe funny guys. My friend Eric was in the same ward as him in church, so we would go to church dances and random stuff like that. He was always really talented musically, and I honestly feel like an idiot for not starting a band with him. He never offered me a part in Panic, but he did offer my friend Eric a keyboard position before it was even a position and just another part in a band. The last time we really hung out was when he filmed my digital hardcore band Hyperdice. When we opened up for Horse the band, he had a really cool camcorder that recorded DVDs. He was just a normal kid. Really hilarious. Would beatbox during lunch and we would all freestyle rap. I would come up behind him in the hallway and yell something to him that is really not cool, and I can't believe I would say it, but I thought it was funny for some reason. That's about all of my knowledge and experience. My great-aunt married my great-uncle thinking he was 10 years her senior. Then she was applying for passports for them and discovered he was actually 20 years older than her. She was not pleased. Anyway, Uncle Jack was the best, and everything worked out, but the audacity. Shout out to the creepy old business owner I used to deal with in previous job of mine. Dude was nearly 80 and thought an 18-year-old was an ideal age for a girlfriend. Can you imagine being 30 and dating someone who can't even drink yet? I'd drive my own ass to the jail. He thinks predators wait for girls to turn 18. He's in for a rude awakening when he learns about child marriage in the US. Both are true. There are some loopholes that predators use, like approved child marriage. There are some predators that break the law. Unfortunately, most predators do wait so that it's not illegal, and therefore technically society can't complain about them. They're still absolutely predators, they're the majority of them, and they deserve all the ridicule. 27-year-old non-monogamous person here. Dating younger folks is exhausting. They're just at a different time in their lives. They have different priorities. Yet, I'm in my mid-late 20s as well, and I just can't even relate to most 18 to 22-year-olds anymore. I'm 53, and my wife is 41. It's cool, but if I was 32, I would not want to marry a 21-year-old. It's all relative. It's really about the age of the people involved most of the time. 8 years is huge when it's 18 and 25, but it's nothing when it's 47 and 39. The difference is magnified when you are younger. I'm 42 and my fiancé is 31. If we had met when she was 18, that would have been creepy, but we met when she was 28 and just clicked really well. I wasn't specifically looking for younger, she wasn't specifically looking for older. You meet who you meet, you love who you love. Our families are both really supportive, and the age gap rarely comes up unless we are joking with each other. I'm only 22, but I filtered out anyone under 20 on dating apps because I just see 18 to 19-year-olds as kids. I mean, I was definitely a kid. I mature every year, and I know I'm not fully matured yet, but I'm living in a different world and mindset than I was at those ages. I can't imagine being 30 and still dating people fresh out of high school. I honestly think it depends on context. My dad is 6 years younger than my mom. They met when he was 23 and her 29, they're still happily married now. I think age gaps are fine if they're legal. My father is 58 and living with his mistress, now girlfriend, who is 34. My father was legally allowed to drink and vote before she was even born. Also, she is less than 10 years older than both me and my sister. She got in it for the money, which you can clearly tell by her 13K Hermes Birkin bag and designer shoes she has him buy her. Also, who in their right mind would get into a relationship with a married man whose wife is severely struggling with an autoimmune disease? He left my mom, took the house, and now lives in it with her and their 2 champion bloodline purebred golden retrievers that he didn't tell me or my sister about until they got them together. I'm a vet student and huge advocate for rescues, and told him beforehand that I wanted to be a part of the process when he was looking for a dog. Also, he still doesn't admit that he cheated ever, even though we all know he did and have evidence of it. I dated a 30-year-old woman when I was 19. Sex was great, but the awkward age gap conversation thing would happen occasionally if we were hanging out with people in her age range. 18 is 100% out of the question for me. Same with the 20-year age gap, at least until I'm like 50. I did have one partner that was 14 years my junior. It was a unique circumstance, as she was a person of rare quality and emotional maturity. We met at a trivia night at my favorite bar, where a member of our regular group brought her out as a new friend. I immediately found her attractive, but mentally ruled her out as a potential romantic prospect when I learned how great the age difference actually was. But then she was just so awesome throughout the evening, and we had so surprisingly much in common, that when the end of the night came and she said she'd like to see me again, not in a group setting, I had to at least give it a shot. It was actually a pretty good relationship, for as long as it lasted. Ultimately though, things between us ended when she wanted to try polyamory, and I didn't yet feel ready to do so. Before anybody judges her, my initial response to her raising the subject was to propose an op. So she was well within reason to just dump my ass and start fresh, rather than at least allow time for the requisite research and negotiation process prior to potentially opening things up. Kind of ironic how things turned out though, as, after a relatively brief foray into non-monogamy, she is happily monogamous and married to someone else, and I'm polyam and living my best life. Prior to her, I'd only ever dated, at most, within 2 to 4 years of my own age. My now nesting partner, we were both solo poly when we met, and I are only 5 months apart. It's hands down the healthiest, most emotionally satisfying relationship I've experienced in my 42 years of life. The occasions I've attempted to date outside of my typical age range since that first experience have historically not gone well. I think if I were to ever again consider a partner who is even 10 years my junior, let alone younger, it would have to be another unique circumstance. With another human of rare quality. It didn't feel so creepy when I was young and under 18 because 18 seemed so adult to me that I was like, it's not that weird, and now at 25, an 18-year-old is a child to me. I don't want to be involved with someone like 2 years under me because it's hard to relate, let alone someone at 18. Thanks for watching my video.